Hello friends, this is Odds, don't even ask about the blue hair, and today's video is a quiz about your DBD knowledge. I'll put you in very rare situations and ask you which option is the correct one. Now, as I've explained in previous videos, it takes a long time to be good at DBD and be knowledgeable, but don't worry, even if you're extremely good and knowledgeable about this game, some of these situations are going to still blow your mind. I'd be very surprised if all of you get them all right. Let's get into them. All right, starting with our first hypothetical scenario. This is a pretty simple one. Everyone should be able to get this one right. So it's just going to be a bit of a warm-up. We're looking at an endgame situation, right? You and your friend just popped the last generator. You're going towards the exit gate. Looking back, it seems like your friend is a little bit too far to be rescued or escorted to safety. And at this point, you remember that there was a hatch offering to spawn the hatch near the shack, which is coincidentally exactly where your friend is at the moment, being chased by the killer just moments away from going down. So after opening the exit gate, you look back and you consider your possibilities. There are really only two options here. Do you A, leave as soon as possible so that maybe she can get hatch, or B, just wait a little, just wait a little, maybe just wait a little, see what happens, just wait a little. If you chose A, leave as soon as possible, you have the right spirit. You wanted to leave so that she could get hatched, but unfortunately, she was grabbed right before she could get the hatch. So even though you had the right mindset, you unfortunately chose the wrong option. Now, for those of you that pick B, just wait a little, you are absolutely correct, and I commend you for that. If you wait a little bit in this situation, your exhaustion would have run out. Just waiting those fractions of a second would have allowed you to get your exhaustion back. Doing this would allow you to use sprint burst as you go through the exit gate, and believe it or not, using sprint burst to go through the exit gate means that your character disappears sooner. This makes the hatch spawn about 1 second earlier, and that would have saved your teammates. So waiting a little bit there was the correct choice, but I'm sure most of you already knew that. Alright, next scenario. This time we're playing killer and we just closed the hatch. After going back and forth between both exit gates a couple times, we find the final survivor opening the gate desperately. The last light on the gate just came on, which means that they are just mere seconds away from opening the gate. What do we do in this situation to ensure that they don't get out? Is it A, walk straight to them, maybe do a little lunge at the end, try to get them as soon as possible, or B, start moonwalking? Why not? Myers is pretty funny doing that. I'm gonna give you a few seconds, and if you answer walk straight to the survivor, that is unfortunately not the correct answer. Yes, this would be the fastest way to get there, but if we look directly at the survivor, we are playing into their spine chill perk, which makes them 6% faster at opening the exit gate, which unfortunately in this situation made all the difference and allowed them to get out. Of course, if we moonwalk, which is to walk forward looking backwards, well, that will technically not trigger spine chill because we're not looking at the survivor, and that 6% difference means that we get the survivor, and yeah, they're dead. Back to survivor now. We are playing on the GDO mid plan, and after dropping into a place that you really shouldn't have dropped, bam, you're now speared by the death slinger. This is a pretty sticky situation, but is there a way you can make it better, or at least make it less painful? Well, there's the option A of struggling, maybe pulling towards the left where there are some obstacles, or just B, just do nothing, just give up, it's not worth it. What do you pick? Well, if you pick the option A to struggle towards the left, that is actually the worst of the two options and the incorrect one. This would result in you taking damage, but the death slinger maintains his position and downs you very quickly after. Really not ideal. Not doing anything, or even struggling a little bit to the right and then let it go, is actually the better play here. If you don't struggle, it actually takes longer for the death slinger to break his chain, and in this situation it might even make it a bit awkward while you wait those few seconds without struggling. This would actually allow you to get out of bathroom and give you a sporting chance to make the chase last a little bit longer here. So if you chose this option, well done. In our next scenario, we're still playing survivor. This time we're running the killer at the start of the game. We've already dropped a few pallets here and there. We're not doing too bad. Our team's not doing too many gens, which is sadly pretty typical. And right when we think that we're about to stun the killer again, bam, we get hit by the surprise Enduring Spirit Fury. This means that this pallet is about to explode. The killer will recover very quickly, and we're very likely to take a hit shortly after this. So knowing this, what should we do in this scenario? Is it A, delay the hit as much as possible, make distance, maybe take the hit and go towards shack, or B, teabag the killer, furiously. Personally, I would have gone B. I know some of you might have chosen A, and let's see what happens. If we delay the hit as much as possible, unfortunately, our teammates are cleansing a totem that turns out to be haunted ground, resulting in us going down immediately. Not ideal. Now, if we had teabagged the killer furiously, as they clearly deserve, we would have taken the hit early, avoiding the insta-down and resulting in an overall longer chase. So congratulations if you chose the correct option. Next up, we have a different scenario where our friend is in the basement about to hit stage 2 and we need to get to him as soon as possible to save him before that happens. Now, the killer is nowhere near, they seem to be busy elsewhere, but unfortunately us and our teammate cannot easily get to basement because of this trap right here. So, knowing this, what is the fastest way to get through this trap? Is it A, try to hold it open, or B, just step on it, LOL? If you chose option A, you might have had the right idea. When you open a trap, you can let other survivors go through it, but in a situation like this, if the trap is well placed, it's simply too tight for both survivors to squeeze through, so that would not work. Fully disarming the trap is an idea, but especially with add-ons, it can take a long time. So the correct option here is indeed B, just step on the trap. Stepping on the trap is actually faster if you get rescued than disarming it, so this could be the one way to get to basement and save your friend before he is stage 2. There might not be any other way to do it. Next up, we are playing the Artist in Eerie of Crows. We're playing against a survivor that has been running us for a little bit, and we arrive at this loop and place 2 birds down to try to shut it down. Now, in a different structure, this could have been very effective and maybe force the survivor to go elsewhere, but as you place these 2 birds down, you are struck with the realization that this was a big mistake. It turns out that the Jill can just play on the pallet itself, vault it back and forth as much as she wants, and the birds don't really hit her here, so this is not really doing anything. The option of setting up a 3rd bird could also be considered, but let's be honest, if you do that, there's a really high likelihood that the Jill is simply going to just move to the next tile, and then you'll have a longer cooldown. So if we go back to the moment where we place the 2 birds, what is our best option to bounce back from this and be back on the chase as quickly as possible? What is our best shot? Do we want to A, let the birds fade out and enter cooldown as soon as possible, or B, just shoot the birds, YOLO? If you pick the option A of letting the birds fade out, that does indeed take a little bit and then you get your cooldown back. But believe it or not, option B, firing the birds, is the better one. Firing 2 birds has a shorter cooldown than letting them die out. And there's also the chance that you might hit someone else in the distance, which would buy you a little bit of time indirectly by slowing them down. So option B was the correct one here. Congratulations to those that picked it. And if you didn't, well, better luck in the next one, which is the last. For our final scenario, you're gonna have to use 100% of your brain. We are playing Survivor and finishing the last generator. It's come down to us and our teammate only, who is currently being chased by the killer. And as we race to the exit gate, we realize that we have the perk Dramaturgy. Dramaturgy is that one exhaustion perk that allows you to gain a bit of distance. We used it not too long ago and it made us scream, and we now have it available. So we could use it to get to the exit gate a tiny bit sooner. Your game sense and intuition tells you that your teammate is far enough that we have a pretty solid chance to open the gate even without Dramaturgy. But if we use Dramaturgy, we would get there a few moments earlier, so it could make a difference. So what is it gonna be? Is it A, don't use it, it's risky, or B, use it, there's literally 0 risk? Now, if you chose B, choosing that there is no risk involved in this, you are actually dead wrong. If you use Dramaturgy and get a key and get a particular item, for some reason, this item, the unique wedding ring, can actually switch the obsession. This would make your teammate on the ground the obsession, turning you into a non-obsession, and if the killer has Remember Me, which in this case they do, now you cannot open the exit gate nearly as fast, resulting in your death. So not using Dramaturgy would have been the safer option, but I'm sure you all knew that. Yeah, who doesn't know these things? Come on. Anyway, if it's not obvious, this isn't a real quiz of knowledge or a very serious video. It's more of a little shitpost, a little showcase of very unique and stupid interactions that might not be very obvious, and a testament to the fact that even if you have a lot of hours in this game, common sense doesn't always prevail. I hope that you found it funny, and let me know if you'd like to see a part 2 of this. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye. See you in the next time.